going on, Boxing Heads? It's your boy Pool Kind of Boxing, coming back at you for the Boxing Heads and the Boxing Minds. Please smash that like button for more hardcore boxing content. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to my channel. So, you know what I'm saying? Danny Garcia, Danny Swift Garcia will be fighting Jose Benavidez at the Barclays Center this weekend. And, you know what I'm saying? He's 36 wins, 3 losses, and 21 KOs. He's 5'8", and he had a 68.5-inch reach. Jose Benavidez, he's got 27 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 18 KOs. He's 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. So we all know Danny Garcia. Danny Swift Garcia, he's a 2-division champion. He was unified at 140 at WBA, WBC, but he's best known for knocking out Amir Khan when Amir Khan was the man. Amir Khan had them fast hands, what I'm saying? But Danny was able to catch him in the 3rd round, and, what I'm saying? He was jacked up, and, Danny ended up dropping him like 3 times before, Kenneth Bailiff stopped the fight. And, Danny had arrived on the scene, what I'm saying? Everybody was like, who is this guy? What I'm saying? With that crazy left hook, notebook left hook. So, Danny, he went on to fight Lucas Matisse, who was a hard-hitting Argentinian. And everybody remember Lucas Matisse. He knocked out Danny Garcia, knocked out his mouthpiece, right? And, but Danny was able to weather the storm and win that. And he had a couple of iffy fights with Herrera and Peterson, who gave him all he could handle. But he got gifted decisions, in my opinion. And so, he was ready for the big leagues, for the big boys, for Keith Thurman, who, he fought Robert the Ghost Guerrero, right? And that's where he picked up the WBC title. And, he got his first welterweight championship. And, next he fought Keith Thurman in 2017. And Keith Thurman, he was pretty good back then. He wasn't the same Keith Thurman we know now that's ducking everybody and running to the mountains of Tibet, for enlightenment. He's, he beat Danny in a close decision. Danny, he don't let his hands go. And Keith, he's pretty smart. He got a high boxing IQ, and he beat him to the punch. And, Danny came on strong in the end, and Keith just kind of won the early rounds and cruised, to a victory, and beat Danny Garcia. And, to this day, Danny, want that rematch with Keith Thurman. But he holds Keith Thurman in high regards, And then he went on to lose against Sean Porter. And he lost to Errol Spence Jr. So, he didn't have a winning record, but you could recognize the talent in Danny Swift Garcia. He always was a threat with the power and always a threat with the no-look left. And even though he lost, by a wide margin, with Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia, he always tries to make it competitive, but Errol Spence Jr. was just a little bit too much, with his work rate. And, he got, he kind of, outworked Danny, for 12 rounds. And, Danny just, wasn't able to get it together. Now Danny says that he had all kind of anxiety problems, and, he had too much going on during that Errol Spence Jr. fight because of the pandemic and other things that was going on in his life. So, he didn't really do well at 147, except for against Robert Guerrero, when it came to the victory. When it came to Keith Thurman and came to Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr., those were signature fights. He should have won. But, you know what I'm saying, Danny Garcia couldn't get the job done. So he kind of got downgraded in the eyes of, boxing fans. But, he still has a big following up in Brooklyn, in Philly. And they love him up there, because he's a gritty, um, iron chin type fighter because he could take a punch. And he's never been, down, anything like that. He's been hit hard by Keith Thurman, Luka Mustise, he take a good punch, you know what I'm saying? Known to have one of the best chins in boxing. So, I guess Danny Garcia said, he'll move up to 154 and try his luck up there since he had no luck at 147. And in comes Jose Benavidez, right? So Jose Benavidez, he's best known for getting knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Now, Jose Benavidez had been off for, a few years himself, after he got beat by Terrence Crawford. And he went up and he fought this guy named Francisco Emanuel Torres. And, he didn't look so well in that fight. He got a draw. And, looked like Benavidez probably, didn't win. Maybe 4 rounds at best. Really, it looked like a robbery, but they gifted to Jose Benavidez, who was fighting on his older brother, well, not his older brother, his younger brother called David Benavidez, who is, pretty tough guy up at 168, I think he's the better of the brothers, but they were fighting on the same card that night, and Jose Benavidez, they gifted him the decision, even though I thought he should have lost. And, he lost a little bit of mobility, a lot of momentum in his career when he got shot in his leg. And, he fought Terrence Crawford, and, because of, I ain't gonna say because of his leg, he lost the fight, but he did lose, a lot of his leverage in the fight. You can see his leg go out, but he gave Terrence Crawford a competitive fight until, Terrence Crawford figured him out and got him up out of there in the 12th round. But he has a good little style. He got a good style because of his height and his reach. And maybe that'll give Danny Garcia some trouble because you can't really go by his last fight, by Jose Benavidez's last fight, because Jose Benavidez, when he was coming up, he was known as somebody to be reckoned with, you know what I'm saying? So, it may be one of them things of, motivation. And, he leans back, like in the Crawford fight, he may, because of his height, it was really hard for Terrence Crawford to get a good rhythm to break Jose Benavidez down early in the fight, because he got this really awkward way of leaning back and then coming back with counters, underneath hooks. And so, Danny Garcia is going to have to deal with that. I don't know if Jose Benavidez is the same fighter, he was when he was facing Terrence Crawford, with the same kind of tools that he can use in the fight. But, if he looked like anything when he fought Francisco Emanuel Torres, then he's going to get knocked out by Danny Garcia, which is probably why Danny Garcia chose him to be his first fight at 154, because the guy didn't look great, in his last fight. And this is the sad thing, that's going on in boxing, is that they're not trying to fight fighters at their best to test themselves, they're fighting, they're looking for, guys, that didn't look so great in the last fight, to limit the risk. And this is a must win for Danny Garcia, guys. He don't really, with all the losses that he's taken. Now, in my book, that's not a big deal. A fighter is good as long as he's good. He can still win. But, in the boxing climate nowadays, you can't lose too many fights. And if he loses to a opponent with the stature of Jose Benavidez, then, what I'm saying, I think he's not going to get any more shots up at 154, because, Keith Thurman, I think he's headed that way, but Keith Thurman he still got some opportunities down at 147. And, he could fight Boots. He's still trying to get that Errol Spence Jr. fight. But we all know that Errol Spence Jr. said that he would never, ever fight Keith Thurman. And I believe him. I don't think he want to give Keith Thurman that payday. But, as far as Danny Garcia goes, this is a fight that's probably hardcore boxing fan friendly. Not really a big fight in the eyes of the casual fan. And because it don't move boxing forward, and what I'm saying, but it'll be interesting to see if Danny Garcia, what he can do or what he have left after that Errol Spence Jr. fight. Because once Errol Spence Jr. fight his opponents, they don't really do well. Mikey Garcia, he was pretty banged up. And he blamed Errol Spence Jr. for, taking a lot of fights out of him because he lost to a subpar opponent. So now, folks are, look at Sean Porter. Once again, Sean Porter, he fought Errol Spence Jr. 2019, and you could see, when he fought Crawford, he wasn't exactly the best Sean Porter. And a lot of people say that's due to Errol Spence Jr., the punishment he took in that dog fight. And, now we're looking at Danny Garcia to see how he looks after, a 19-month layoff. And, so now he's back. Everybody want to see what kind of effects, that he's had, Errol Spence Jr. fight had on him. And he said he feels great. He says he feels stronger, And Danny Garcia says he's been sparring, more than he's ever had. And, Angel Garcia's back up to his old ways, talking crap to Jose Benavidez. And Jose Benavidez say, hey, man, I'll just do, my talking with my hands in the ring. So it should be a pretty good fight because Jose Benavidez is not a joke. Hopefully, he looks better than he did against Torres. And Danny Garcia, hopefully not a lot has been taken. Errol Spence Jr. didn't take a lot out of him. And then we should have a pretty good fight. But I think I'm going to go with Danny Garcia in this one. If he ain't too banged up, he should be able to beat Jose Benavidez. I don't think he'll get a knockout, but I think he'll get a decision. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got. This has been Full Count Boxing. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more hardcore boxing content. See you guys in the next one. Peace.